Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV, welcome to your weekly Sunday transfer show. Yes, live at 5, we've made it, we're on time again, second week running for this show, and every Sunday at 5 we'll be bringing you the latest news on Newcastle United, obviously focusing on the transfer window. It's heating up, you know what I mean? Sandro Tonali, where is he? What's he doing? Get over here, son. I mean, he's coming, don't worry about it. Yesterday we had people outside the ground waiting. Morons. He wasn't coming yesterday. I said Monday, and to be fair, if you believe in some of the local press, they're saying it could be as late as Wednesday now that Sandro Tonali turns up for Newcastle United. I think he will get announced tomorrow. Whether he'll be in Newcastle tomorrow, I'm unsure now, to be fair. I thought it'd be Monday. I'll still stick to early next week. I think surely by Wednesday, you'll see Tonali in the black and white at St. James's Park, posing, ready, interviewed and done, hopefully. You know what I mean? We're hearing different reports of the fee now as well. Obviously, it started off as 80 million euros, 70 million euros, and it looks like it could be as little as 50 to 55 million pounds for Tonali. So what a steal that is. The AC Milan midfielder, the Italian international, and now, thankfully, 21's getting knocked out of the Euros means he can come sooner. So he'll definitely be saying next week. He'll have a couple of days break, and then he'll be back at it, because Newcastle are getting back at it very soon. Listen, 2 weeks until that first game at Gateshead Stadium. We kick off our pre-season Gateshead on the 15th of July. So 2 weeks yesterday, you'll see Newcastle United back in action. That's come round quick, to be fair. The summer is going quickly. This transfer window is moving fast. And as you can see on the bottom of your screen there on the old ticker, there is loads to get through on this show. Make sure you check out all the social media as well. Give this a thumbs up if you're enjoying the video, and subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV if you have not already. So I'll tell you what we'll do, and I want loads of interaction from you as well, because this is why the show went on for 2 hours nearly last week. It's because we had so many people live, we had so many people in the chat. Want to get you involved as well. That's the whole point of these live shows. So we'll go back up to the top of the comments, pick out some of the best ones, and then we'll talk about all of the links on that ticker that you can see on your screen now. So just hello everyone that's saying it. Yamin, how are you? I'm good, mate. Very good. Had a good day out yesterday, to be fair. It was Keg, good old Keg TMC. His stag do yesterday, all the way in Durham. Long way away, I know. And had a good day out there. Not even rough today either. So it's double sound. Feeling good. Afternoon, Aaron, who's always in here. Thirsto loves his cat. Good. I'm glad you're showing your cat, not too much affection. That'd be weird. But I'm glad that you're loving your cat and you're looking after it. No Kate Zumas around here. And magpies, of course. Obviously, good stuff. Magpies. I love seals. That's what I'll put out there. Went to Whitley Bay the day. Seen a couple of seals at the lighthouse. Good stuff. Like the seals. Miami Dolphins. Ari, Jackie, hi, Billy, bonjour, everyone. Inaz, bonjour. Even the good spelling in there from Dave. I like it. Fly through a few more comments before we talk about it. Adam, 55 mil is a steal. I want to dance with Tonali. Love the tune. When is the American tournament? Says NUFC 123. End of July, isn't it? End of July. So I think it's the 23rd of July or something that week. 3 games in a week for Newcastle. Be doing all the watch-alongs live on this channel. So stay tuned for that one. This is what I really want to talk about today as well. All these names that I link with Newcastle that never happen. Right, and these ones were close, and we did bid for all these players, by the way. We did bid for Madison. We did bid for Sabalzai. How he's put it there, Slab Buzzle. To be fair, I've had a nightmare with that pronunciation, so I don't blame you for the spelling. But Dominic Sabalzai, who's actually been officially unveiled as a Liverpool player today for 70 million euros. I think it was on a 6-year deal. He's signed for the Scousers. So he's not coming. Madison, in the space of that same few days, is signed for Spurs. He's not coming. Moussa Diaby. Don't think we'll sign Diaby because he'll be way too much money as well. They're talking 70, 80 million euros for a winger. I don't think we'll do that this window. But obviously, Diaby and Madison, especially last summer, were linked so much, man, weren't they? It was every single day, Madison and Diaby. Because to be fair, it was true. These weren't rumours that were just, plucked out of thin air. Like, Eddie Howe, top targets were Diaby and Madison. But the budget, FFP, just doesn't stretch that far this soon. Let's be real. We are still spending 50, 60 million on a midfielder in Sandro Tonali. Obviously, we spent 60 million last year on Isaac. So it's not like they're not spending. We're just going to be a bit smart with it for now. And the Diaby and that'll come 2-3 years down the lane. These summer windows, you think this is mad and this is busy. Just wait until 2-3 years' time. If we keep on going in the direction we're heading, top 4, top 6, signing these players, making the revenue, increasing sponsorship deals like we have done this season with Salah as our main shirt sponsor, then, you're going to see signings like Diaby, no bother at all will be splashing the cash on wingers, and maybe you would have went that extra mile to try and convince Sabozai or Maddison, give him extra wages, because he went to Spurs because he got a bigger paycheck. That's the only reason, that was the only reason. Newcastle didn't quite want to match that 40 million mark. It only would have been a few million off. Maybe they would have went for it, but Maddison's getting paid an extra 50 grand a week at Spurs, an extra $250,000 a month. And he gets to go to London where his missus wanted to go. So that's why Maddison didn't come. But these sagas, are they a waste of time? We'll touch on that soon. What else was saying? Bry, big up Bry. Aye, mate. Hope you're well. Looking forward to seeing you. I was going to say Rangers, but I'm sure I'll see you at Gateshead before that, mate. Buzzing for Rangers away as well. It's going to be a nice little midweek trip. Chris has Livramento fell through. We're going to touch on that soon. According to the Telegraph and Luke Edwards, it hasn't fell through. The deal isn't dead completely, but big, gaps in valuation from Newcastle compared to Southampton. They're valuing them at even as close to 50 million, which is nuts. I think probably 30 odd. Newcastle are trying to do 15, 20. So, it's like half price is what we're trying to get them for, but we'll wait and see. In how and Ashrath we trust is David well said. Nightmare for Chris. He's got a power cut. Feel for you, mate. At least you got this going. Hope it doesn't kill your phone or whatever you're watching it on too much. But cheers for spending your power cut with me, mate. Appreciate it. I was going to say it could be outside enjoying the weather, but it's a bit left in. A bit windy and raining now and again. Man U keep as a free agent. Up the 2, we're going to win the Premier League. I agree with Chelsea. Our fans get a bit ahead of themselves because, listen, we weren't signing anybody a couple of windows ago. The new owners have came in, spent all this money on these players, updating the training ground. They spent only 2-3 million on the training ground alone. We know we're heading in the right direction. We've spent a lot of money. We're going to spend more. So just take it easy. I'd understand if we got to the end of the window and all we're saying was Tonali. I'd be disappointed with that. But the window's only been open 2 weeks. And we're about to sign one of the best midfielders in the world. So I think we're doing all right, if you ask me. I think we're doing pretty good. So we're going to, we'll take it easy. We'll take it easy on this one for now. Just positivity. Let's be positive. Look at how well the club's done so far. This is another one that couldn't even fit on the ticker on the bottom of the screen, but Reece Nelson has been linked today. I tell you what, we'll quickly touch on him now since David's brought that up. I see Reece Nelson from Arsenal linked. I'm not that arsed about that one, to be fair. This is more of a, what would I say, Mike Ashley signing? I don't know. Nelson's good, young, potential, and he scored that belter against Bournemouth for Arsenal in the league, didn't he? But nah, I'm not really feeling a Reece Nelson. Is Reece Nelson an upgrade on what we've got? Is he better than Almiron, Alan St-Maximin, Anthony Gordon, who Gordon, by the way, starts for England in the under-21 Euros quarter-final against Portugal. That's just kicked off. So people in the chat, keep me updated on how that's going. Had a good bit of crack last week when we were winning. The under-21s were winning England last week. So we'll talk about that as well. It looks like Gordon is thriving in that number 9 role as well. He's been playing as a striker for England, and he himself has said it is his best preferred position. He reckons he gets the best out of his skills, playing off the shoulder, using his pace. He said that he doesn't like drifting in and out of games. Anthony Gordon, he says, on the wing, I feel left out. And he says, I played well in a 6 and an 8 for Newcastle last year. And now he's being tested as a 9 for England. And even Eddie Howe's said when Gordon was saying that he sees him as a versatile player. He can play up front or on the wing, which surprised me because I don't think he's finishing or his goal scoring is that great. But he scored a couple of headers for England on the 21s. You know what I mean? You wouldn't really associate him with that kind of skill set. And definitely, if he can get on the shoulder, he can beat the last man. He'll get loads of one-on-ones, loads of them, where he can use his pace to his advantage. And I've been saying it, when Wilson gets injured, it's not if, it's when, unfortunately. And we're playing twice a week. We're going to need other people to come in. We're sold Chris Wood. We've got no other recognised striker but Wilson. Isak as well, obviously, but seems to get deployed a lot down the left, or you can't just carry the pressure on Isak to play bloody 38 Premier League games and then Champions League games and FA Cup games and Carabao Cup games. So, we're going to need, if we don't sign a versatile forward, is Eddie Howe looking at Anthony Gordon to be that man? Interesting stuff. But Reece Nelson, back to David's question. I wouldn't say no to him, but it's not one that gets us excited. I'm not like, ooh, I fancy. I wouldn't mind we're signing Nelson. I can see him doing this, doing that for us. Like, nah, he's a bit unproven for me. He needs to do more. He needs to go to like a Burnley who have just came up, or maybe a West Ham. Maybe he goes there and does well. But for now, I wouldn't be too fussed on Reece Nelson, to be honest. Stephen, we've got all the updates coming. They're on the bottom of your screen, and we'll talk about every single one of them in a minute. Just want to get through some chats with all you. Got 500 people tuned in live right now. Big up everyone that's in live right now. Make sure you drop a quick subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video. Helps the channel grow. Helps me bring out more videos for you lot. So what else we're saying? Stu's disappointed with losing out on Sabozai. He'd be great for Liverpool. Oh, he will be like. Remember, even Paqueta was shite at the start for West Ham. And then he went and scored against us. First goal. His first goal for West Ham in the Premier League was, of course, against Newcastle United at St James's Park, where he was linked to coming for so long. And then he's just been class since, to be fair. He's had a really good second half of the season. Lucas Paqueta. I would have loved him at Newcastle. Obviously, again, shame. It was the same. Like, we did want him, but the budget just didn't stretch that far last summer. And it's not going to stretch us for this summer as well. Yet the FFP got to play between the rules, got to make way, got to start increasing our revenue streams, sponsorship deals, player sales as well, man. We haven't made a penny off anyone. We're still Chris Wood, but we're still made a loss. We need to. Maybe that's why you will see late movement on an Alan St. Maximin or Jamal Lascelles, someone where you can get a bit of funds back. I mean, Lascelles, you're not going to get much, like maybe 10 million, but Maxi, you could get 30 odd million. The problem with me is if you sell Alan St. Maximin, is can you really better Alan St. Maximin for 30 odd million? I'd say no, really. I mean, let me know in the chat what you think. Would you sell Alan St. Maximin for 30, 35 million? And who could you realistically get in place of him for that amount, for that fee? You can't get fuck all these days for 35 million. Fuck all. So I don't know about Alan St. Maximin leaving. I would cash in on him if we could use it, but then you look, if that's the limitations, sell and buy for the same price, 30 odd million. I mean, Gordon was 40. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not sure what we'd do with that, but I agree. I would have loved Dominic Szoboszlai. Great talent. And you know, for a fact, he's going to be class for Liverpool. But it's one of their ones, mate. Look, we've got Tonali. We'll move on. We've got other targets in the pipeline. I'm confident we'll still make a good few more signings this window and some big ones. Seen this name getting linked a lot lately. This Wirtz from Germany. I've got to be honest, I haven't done any research on him. I don't know what's going on. So you can let me know in the chat on Wirtz. There wasn't really a trusted source for me to go with it for Wirtz. It seemed a bit too, like Twittery rumors. Obviously, we'll cover the odd one of those if it's got legs. But normally I will go off, my contacts, Sky, and then maybe the Athletic, and that's about as far as I can, really. If you're talking rumor pages and that, you'll just kind of see fucking Messi linked and everything, aren't you? So it wouldn't go that far. But everything you see on your screen here and what I cover, it's normally got some substance to it. Or the odd one, that Gabri Veiga one that's on your screen. That one's probably the most pushed out there one for me. We'll talk about that soon, though. But we'll get cracked on. Graham, Matthias Franca. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle moved back in for him. We did try and sign him in the last window. The Brazilian, class player as well. I would love him. He would get fans excited, But yeah, I actually could see that one happening, to be fair, Matthias Franca. But it's always a bit. I like, we've seen Bruno and that come over from Brazil and then go to Europe, play in the French league, go play in League 1, go play in Serie A, then come to Newcastle. But if you're coming straight to the Premier League, it's a risky one, isn't it? But I do like the look of Franca, and I could see it happening because he's not going to cost a ridiculous amount either. You get him for about 20 million, so that would be a good budget, but I'm not sure if he's going to be ready to just go straight in there, Buonasera, Matty, from the Geordie in Rome. Enjoying Rome, mate. Enjoy yourself over there in Rome. Who knows? There might be loads of Geordies over there next season. People mentioning Gordon playing up top for the three lines again. England have kicked off in the under-21s quarter-final against Portugal. And Gordon is up there as a number 9 again. Talked about it before. What's your top 4 for next season? Quickly touching this one. Loads of good comments coming in from the chat. Yeah, nice one. Makes the show smooth. Goes well. And then we can talk about the topics that I've already got ready for us. And top 4 for next season. I think City will win the league again. Of course they will. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal get on in the Champions League again. Now, they haven't been in the Champions League for like 7 years. Obviously, they're making some good signings, like the Reece and that. Havertz is a mad one. Shite that. But, they're adding squad depth, which is important for that, which is what Newcastle need to do as well. But I'll still chuck Arsenal in there. I think Chelsea might do all right now. Chelsea with no distractions, no European football. Pochettino, they're selling all the deadwood. I'm going to tuck Chelsea in there, and then I'm going to say Liverpool. Yeah, I think Liverpool will come back. I mean, that midfield's looking a bit naughty now, like, to be honest. McAllister from Brighton, Szoboszlai from Leipzig, and they're still going to sign one more. And if they can get Gakpo and Darwin Núñez firing, then it could be dangerous. And they're in the Europa League. Pressure's off a bit there. They'll probably rest players. Do I be cheeky behind Newcastle in there again? Probably not, because we're back in the Champions League. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough for us. But who knows? When that question needs answered in September, when the transfer window closes. That question needs asked again on the 1st of September, which I'm sure we will. We'll do a prediction for it. Dave's watching from Thailand. Nice one, Dave. Love out like that. Thailand. Good stuff. Hope you're enjoying yourself, mate. We will talk about this as well. There wasn't enough space. I didn't want to really hammer the bottom of the ticker there, but Lindstrom, the links to him are heating up. Good winger. We'll talk about him in a bit. But yeah, I could see that one having some legs. To be fair, we'll just talk about it now since it's on the stream. Since it's on the screen there, Will's comment. Lindstrom, decent. Again, it's that profile, that mould of a young player who Eddie can work on, build him up, but he has showed things already. Decent league, the Bundesliga. And it's quick, bit of versatility as well. We need that in the wingers, and obviously we're strengthening that. I suppose could Lindstrom be the one to replace Alan St. Maximin? That would be virtually, you'd probably still make a profit on that deal. You could get Lindstrom for 25 million or something max, and then sell St. for 30, 35 mil. Maybe not. Well, this is the thing, and I'll show on right now. Tonali did come out of nowhere. So did Barella. None of these journalists, even Fabrizio Romano, none of that were talking about Barella until bang out of nowhere. And, we'll bid for him, and then it went quiet because we didn't bid enough, and then we moved on to Sandro Tonali. So that could probably that could easily happen with anyone. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing in the way that the club are doing that, working quietly, not giving too many things away. And I think look at Isak last summer. Isak was out of nowhere, and within a couple of days he was on his way. Plenty of time in the window, says Dave Young, in anyhow we trust. Absolutely. Johnny, how much do you think is left to spend after the Tonali deal? So we're saying we're going to get Tonali for 55 million, which looks about right. We'll get Sandro Tonali for 55 million. I think we'll spend 120 million this summer before player sales. I think we'll spend another 50 to 70 million. And I think that'll get where I think Livramento can get a deal done, get him for 20. So there's 75 million gone. It's just hypothetically saying you get a Lundstrom in for 20 odd. There's like 105 million. And then you've got 15 million to play with to maybe do you get that Matthias Franca in for depth? Do you get a left back in to take it over? And then, I think we'll spend about 120 million. And then if Alan St. Maximin goes, can we stretch that to 140, 150 mil? I think we'll definitely spend 100 mil. Easy. So I'll say 120 before player sales. That would be my prediction. So I'm telling you, we're saying at least 4 players this summer. Tonali's going to be the first one, the main one. Obviously, we're saying Yankuba Minef. He's going straight on loan to Feyenoord. That's not counting the budget. The 6 million was spent for him. It's a youth player. It's not counting. So I'm going to go with another 3 players after Tonali. Easy. And then you never know. We could be, the window closes September 1st. Season kicks off start of August, 2-3 weeks left. In that 2-3 weeks, we could have played, obviously, a few games. Someone may have got an injury. They might have to pull the trigger and move on someone else. They may have to sell someone and move on to someone else. Like, plenty of wiggle room to be done. Need a winger, left back, and maybe a striker instead of midfielders, says Taylor. That like. Hi, I'm an NUFC fan in London. Hello, Adam. That'll be good. NUFC fan in Kenya. Andy, all the way in Kenya. Cheers for tuning in, mate. Let's get through some more of these chats. Hendricks off the Al Ittihad. I bloody wish he was. Why? You know what I mean? All these, the Saudis are splashing the cash on all these Chelsea players. They need to look after us. They should be hiring massive money for Hendrick and Hayden and, you know what I mean, Kieran Clark and that who's went. You know what I mean? We should be getting big sums for these just for the crack. Where are they? You know what I mean? Matty Longstaff, someone should have bought him 30 million, 100 grand a week. Good luck, Matty. Enjoy your tan. Get the sun cream on. Ginger. But you know what I mean? We should have been splashing it. We need the big money. We can see Maximum knock out there. Saudi Arabia for 60 million. You know what I mean? They're giving Hudson a die a few hundred grand a week. Why say Maximum's payday? Yeah? Get them in. Hopefully we get a big move. And that's not even talking about, you know, bringing in someone else for that much. You know, if you're talking about where Chelsea are buying, smashing to sell these players and that, and then everyone's saying, oh, Newcastle are going to be bringing in Ruben Neves. Ruben Neves on loan from Saudi's going to come, and Ronaldo can go there and that. Oh, fucking bring it on, especially Ruben Neves. I think Ruben Neves, if we could get him on loan, I would say in January, help us get through that, hopefully get through the Champions League group stages, help us, you know, do well in the FA Cup and stuff as well. Bring in some Ruben Neveses for the strength and depth on the way from Saudi. A little loan deal, that would be lovely, and that would piss everyone off. I'm a big fan of it, because I don't think Neves would come straight away. You kind of just pay them that much money. 10 times his salary he was getting at Wolves is what they're paying him. Nuts. And then, you know, give Wolves, 40 million or whatever it was for him. And then, actually, no, we're not that bothered. He can go to Newcastle. They're not going to do that straight away. You'll have a little impact in Saudi, play there for a few months, and then who knows? You could come over. I'd be surprised at that, but you see the links. But I would love it, love it. Dan's asking Nobi I did now. I'm on the old water the day like squash, because I had plenty of beers yesterday. I feel fine, to be fair. Absolutely fine, but double, quite a bit of drink yesterday, so no need for it today, really. No need. All the Lindstrom rumours true. We talked about that before, so give it a rewind if you haven't seen it already. Sell Miggy to Saudi, says Aaron. Do we know what Karl will be doing next season, says Martin Shields. Oh, he'll be out on loan again, just not Scotland, hopefully. Do you know what I mean? Because he's just not giving it. No, I don't say not Scotland. I've got nothing against Scotland, but not a Heart, shall I say? Then I'll just, however, make sure he's going to get game time. I think it didn't help with Hearts that they changed the manager and he got an injury and then he just couldn't recover. How many times do we see that with players' careers? But look at what I really liked about the Yankuba deal was that bang announced, but straight away he's off to Feyenoord. You know, he's Champions League. He's got a Champions League loan, like Feyenoord in the Champions League. You know what a great loan deal that is for us and for him. So Karl, get him away, get him somewhere in Europe, even the Championship. Can he get League One Championship? Can he go abroad? Just send him to France or something, build his confidence, get a few goals there, whatever. But yeah, you'll definitely be going on loan. But they had big hopes for Karl, and he's had a nightmare first year. So let's hope it improves. I think we should keep Maxi, but he's only play out sell a reasonable chunk. Lots of people asking about Florian Wirtz. Keep Maxi. Give Manu 20 million for Garnacho. He's just signed a new deal, mate, so he won't be going anywhere. And they love it. You know what I mean? They absolutely love it. Cheers, Matthew. You know the score. You know. Good taste, mate. Good taste. Cheers, Adam. What else we're saying? Top 4, Adam's got City, Arsenal, Newcastle and Chelsea. Good stuff. Yeah, let's have a look. Top 5 gets Champions League next season. I tried to look at this the other day and I couldn't really find enough solid evidence on it. It just seemed like a lot of waffle. So let me know in the chat how that's the crack. Why is it the case 5th gets you Champions League? Is it because they're changing that thing? Something to do with loyalty, so Liverpool will get Champions League regardless because they've won it a few times. It's something mad like that because they're changing the group stages and everything the year after the upcoming season for the Champions League. So it's all changing. It's all a bit mad. But if 5th does get Champions League, then that's us in. That's us in, baby. I'm saying I don't really get 5th next year. It's going to be hard. I think Aston Villa will have a good season. I think they're doing well. Some good signings. Emery. Obviously, Spurs. How's that new boss going to get on? Angie, Big Ange. Does Kane stay? There's loads to work out, really. But I think we could get 5th next year. Definitely Man United in there as well. But they're, Champions League for the first time in a bit. So, loads to work out. But if 5th gets you Champions League, tasty that. We can get on that. It'll be really, really difficult to get top 4 again, with these teams coming back. Because Liverpool had the worst, not that I was going to say Chelsea, had the worst year in a long time, which they did. Did they finish bottom half? No, terrible. Liverpool finished strongly, got 5th. Spurs obviously had a crap year, finished 8th, no European football. You're not going to see that again next year. You're not going to see that. They're going to come back stronger. It's going to be a harder league next year. I think even Brighton will still be there, De Zerbi, even though they've sold McAllister and they've got bits to do. The signing of, they've obviously broke their transfer record for João Pedro, the Brazilian, who was linked with Newcastle for so long. He's went there. No doubt he'll be absolutely class. So it's going to be a tough league. Even Alan from Gran Canaria. Good old Gran Canaria. Hi, Matty. Quality content as usual. Do you think we go for Kane? Oh, no, not Kane. Coney. Yes, I do. Yes, I do think we will go for... I think the alternative to a Sabolzai, in my eyes, would be a Coney or Thuram. 2 midfielders in France doing bits. And I think you could probably get a decent sum for them. Do you know what I mean? I think you could get a decent sum for them. So I wouldn't mind Coney or Thuram at all. But again, both of them are linked. So we'll wait and see if we get some movement on them. Cheers for that one, Rick. Kenneth, James Ward-Prowse. Yeah, I would like James Ward-Prowse. We've got enough set pieces to take us now, like with Trippier and Tonali. But I would take Ward-Prowse, but he's silly money. 50 million. They want 50 million for him. Like, what is he now? Like 28 or something now is Ward-Prowse. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't see we're doing that one unless Southampton drop the valuation, which they won't. I think a lot of teams are waiting for Southampton to bulge on that estimation. Leicester did bulge on the Maddison. The start of the window, they wanted 50, 60. They end up settling for 40 off Tottenham. So with Ward-Prowse, I think they'll be the same. I think they'll probably end up accepting about 30 odd 40 for him. 40 max, really. 30 maybe. Where's he going to go, though? Do you know what I mean? Loads of teams were interested in him, linked with him. I'm not really sure where you go now, if I think about it. Will West Ham get Ward-Prowse to replace Declan Rice? Maybe that's something they could do, Have I seen the photo? No, I haven't, because I don't think there is one. I don't know who's photoshopped that, but I don't think Tonali's even in Newcastle at the minute, so I don't know what the hell that is. But, yeah, don't know about that, mate. Let's see what we've got. Where's the Brazilian bonnet gone, Matty? It's gone, mate. It's gone. Brought about the darkness. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? One day it may come back. If we lift the trophy, something like that. But I've had it for a couple of years now, mate. Mixing it up. Going back. What else was saying before we get into the topics? Because it's half an hour now. I suppose we've touched on a couple of players, to be fair, and mentioned the Tonali thing at the start. So we've covered Tonali. And it's just good to interact with you lot. This is the whole point of this show. Just to speak to you lot in the chat, build a bit of a community here, and just, have a bit of banter with you lot and bring you up to date with the news. Aaron's saying a left back is desperately needed. That's the position we need to fill. Eddie Howe has really wanted a left back. We're saying target, but Howe just doesn't fancy him, does he? And he doesn't trust him enough to be quick enough to get up and down and delivery. That's why he really likes Kieran Tierney. But again, Arsenal value him over 30 million. We don't want to pay anything more than 30, if that, at a push. And then obviously he's got the fitness concerns. Theo Hernandez was linked the other week. That's a bit of a dream signing, really. AC Milan are going to want nearly 100 million is what's been quoted for him. He's linked with PSG as well for 90, 100 million. So we're not going to spend that on a left back. I don't think we'll spend anything more than, I don't think we'll spend more than 40, 50 million on anyone now for the rest of the window. So we're not going to go and spend 70, 80, 100 on a left back. So will it be Tierney? Will it be Cucurella? Obviously, I think Cucurella could be one that we see movement on because Chelsea are willing to sell. He wants to move. Chelsea don't need the money. They've just had loads of money from Saudi Arabia, funny enough. With all these other players that they've sold over there. So could we get Cucurella for like 20, 25? Obviously, they're happy to sell him for 30. Could we be cheeky? Maybe try and get him for 22. Maybe a couple add-ons, something like that, I think we could get a left back, but obviously we're looking at Livramento. Does Eddie Howe see him as being versatile enough to do both? Because I think Livramento's going to want game time. And he's not going to get that at right back when Trippier's there, unless obviously he plays the kind of swap roles, because Trippier is 33 this September, a couple of months, he is 33. He's not going to be able to play 2 games a week. That's why we're saying Livramento. But then can he be coached into being a bit more of a left back? I don't know, there's options there, but I would have thought we'd probably bring in a recognised left back, someone who can come in there and do a job straight off. But Jim, see, I should have had this deal with Peroni. I mean, Peroni need to see this and send me some BS. So product placement worked a treat last week. Jim went out and bought the BS. The Peroni Capri that I had last week in celebration of Tonali. Still got a couple left in the fridge ready for when the announcement comes. But it is nice, and I do agree that it is expensive. It's perfect summer drink, that Peroni Capri. It's light, it's refreshing, but it is like a $5 for 3 bottles. So Jim's right, it is expensive. Right, then let's fly through. Let's fly few. I can't even say it. Let's fly through a few more comments. That's what I was trying to say. What a tongue twister that one was. I'll just say let's get through a few more comments before we talk about the topics below. What are you saying? There's loads in here again. Bona Sosa's left back. Never heard of him. Sosa's a good shout. Well, I've never heard of Sosa. So let's see what will happen with Harrison Ashby next season. Says Reece is going to go on loan. Harrison Ashby will be going on loan. He was unlucky as well, just like Karl. Bad timing with injuries. Obviously, Ashby came into the fold a bit towards the end of the season. He was on the bench a couple of times, never really got a sniff. But Ashby, I think a loan spell will do him well. If he can come back and he's ready in a year or two's time when Trippier leaves, then that would be good to have. Obviously, Ashby ready to jump into it and play cup games and that at least. So it'll be a good loan spell for Ashby next year. Not sure where. Maybe Championship. Can you get a move to a Millwall or something? West Ham rival, probably not. But you know what I mean. Just a nice little loan move. Get him some experience. Get his fitness up. Jarva says Chiesa from Juve will be a belter signing. Oh, he would be like, what a signing. I'd be absolutely buzzing with this. I mean, bring in the Italian Revolution. Do you know what I mean? Remember the French Revolution back in the day? When we were signing Yang and Biwa and Marveau and not Obertan. We're saying Debussy. We had 5 or 6 French players, didn't we? Signing right up. Who was the other winger that we had? I can see him, but I can't remember what his name was. The bald one. What was he called? Not Fabrice Pancrat. That's a throwback. Fabrice Pancrat, not him. But anyways, when we're saying about 5 or 6 French players in January, what was all that about? Let's do it this window with the Italians. Chiesa would be amazing because he fits the bill. He's just come out of a big injury, but he's class, man. And if the Juve want to sell him for 35, 40 million, that's class for us. That's a steal. A big steal, that like. And he's versatile. Plays left, plays right wing, can even play down the middle. He's done that for Italy and scored goals. So that would be a serious signing. I would absolutely love Chiesa. Grimaldo just signed for Leverkusen. Has he actually? What a signing that is for Leverkusen. Why is he gone there? I would have definitely took him. He was even linked with Man United and also it's Grimaldo. So what a signing that is for them. Lewis Hall. We actually have looked at Lewis Hall, but Chelsea don't want to let him go. Understandably so. But there is another Chelsea player we're linked with that's on the bottom of your screen right now. Conor Gallagher, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes as we'll round up some of those chats. Yeah, I'm going to have nailed this pronunciation. Kvaratskhelia. Nailed it, mate. Right? Kvaratskhelia. I can say it all day long. You know what I mean? And I would love to sign him. But what a signing he would be. He'd be fine. He'd be a dream signing. But everyone in Europe wants him. And Napoli don't have to sell. Unlike a few Italian clubs like your ACs, they don't have to sell. They don't need the money. The Victor Osimhen, they could probably get 80, 90 million for him, maybe 100, and they're like, nah, 150 or nothing. And people are like, we're not paying 150. They're like, sweet, we'll keep holding them. No rush. Don't need selling. They're in a good position, Napoli. And then obviously Kvaratskhelia as well, the same, 100 million. Wow, we'll give you 50, 60. Nah, see you later. Don't need to sell. Unlike Sevilla, which is an interesting one that came out over the weekend. Have you seen that? Sevilla have listed every single player in their squad available for transfer because they're 80 million in debt at least. So take your pick. Any Sevilla players that people want in the chat, let me know. Definitely a couple of players in there, obviously doing well. They're in the Champions League still, but they crazily need funds. They are absolutely cash strapped. Mega debt. So they need to shift some players on, and everyone has been whacked up for sale. Madness. Zaha's been linked there. He's going to go into Saudi for a payday, and he really. Zaha will be good, but again, he's not a player that Newcastle and Dan Ashworth would look to sign. The age, everything, the profile, wouldn't look Wouldn't look right for us. It's not something that we would move on. Cayman Islands. James from the Cayman Islands. Shout out James for that one. Let's read a couple more and then we'll talk about the topics. I would absolutely love this. Like, you know what I mean? Get the Saudis in for Dubravka. At least 20 mil. At least. You know what I mean? Right. What we'll do is we'll round this off. We will round this off. Gordon, has he scored? People are saying Gordon. Gordon has scored. See a silly sausage gaming. Gordon main striker next season. Let's have a look. Has he actually scored, or are people just on the wind up in the chat? England are 1-0 up, and it is Anthony Gordon. He's done it again. Golden boy, Golden Gordon. He is absolutely flying. Star boy. Wow. He has scored again for England in the quarterfinals. He is up front today. Anthony Gordon up front scores again for England. Well, within this Euros, by the way. Our squad is class. That James Trafford, really good keeper. Man City keeper who's on loan. He's class. James Garner, Max Aaron, the fullbacks. Madueke for Chelsea. Curtis Jones, Jacob Ramsey, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Anthony Gordon. It's a quality team, that, like. Quality team. Cole Palmer on the bench. Smith Rowe on the bench. Doing bits is Anthony Gordon for England under 21s. Gets on. Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon. Listen to Kevin, everyone. Kevin knows what he's talking about. Hit that like button if you haven't already. En-Nesyri for cheap. I'd take a bit of that. Like, I like the links to En-Nesyri now, especially if they need the money. This could be a deal we could get done because, again, we, like I said earlier, we need those options up front for when injuries happen and playing twice a week. And En-Nesyri's a different option for us. You know, he's a big target man. We could change our game plan. There's going to be times in Europe where we're going away places and teams are sitting back, and we're seeing it in the Premier League as well. You know, when we go to Sheffield United and that next year who came up, they're just going to put everyone behind the ball, frustrate the hell out of it. A bit like Forest did. Loads of teams started doing it. Do we want an En-Nesyri? Do we want someone like that to come off the bench? So we can change up our game, so we can just get Tonali pumping into balls into En-Nesyri, mixing things up a bit, because everyone's going to expect us to play the same way. Can we, 20 minutes to go, 0-0, bring on an En-Nesyri, and then he can do a job for you, you know what I mean? Grab a goal, get an assist. It's not a bad option to have, you know what I mean? It's not a bad option at all to have. You need these, these choices. Eddie Howe's going to need choices going forward because there's that many games coming up. Yes, was it Tovan? I wasn't thinking of Tovan, but the French Revolution, Sissoko, Cabela. Oh, I thought Cabela was going to be class, man. But he was absolutely awful. But bad timing for him. Bad timing. Gouffran. Yes, Gouffran was the one I was thinking of. Gouffran and Marvaux and that French Revolution. Renan Lodi would be a good left back. He's still at Forest, doesn't he? Are they signing him? I think Forest signing him up permanently. I think they did. Right, then what we're going to do then, there's been plenty of comments coming in. There's nearly 700 people in this stream. So shout out every single one of you. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Be much appreciated. Steven's asking for Andy Carroll back. I think that's enough time in a comment to leave onto the talk. So let's get into the bottom news that's going on your ticker now then. We've touched on Sandro Tonali. For you that missed it at the start of the stream, could be announced tomorrow. Definitely be announced and chosen, shown with these pictures next week. I think you'll be having the shirts up, the interviews by midweek. It'll be officially done, announced, revealed, everything. So that's obviously great news for Newcastle. Our first major signing of the window, big money, looking at around £55 million. So steal, if you ask me. It's not your 70, 80 million. That was first rumoured. Next one is a big one then. All right, next one. You can see it right there. After the Tonali one. Newcastle have met with Gabri Veiga's agents. That's according to a lot of things online today. And I said before about substantial rumours. The other ones you can see are from, good journalists or newspaper outlets. This Gabri Veiga one, let's just bring it up again where it was from. Because it is a bit, probably, it's not as substantial as I would like in terms of definite, you know what I mean? But you've got a few websites and outlets talking about it. It's all over Twitter today. That he is in talks with Newcastle. That Newcastle United have met with Gabri Veiga's agents. He was looking to be signed by Barcelona, by Real Madrid. Liverpool are still after him. Man City entered the race last week. I mean, I would absolutely love this signing. Obviously, he's one of the best young talents in the world. Gabri Veiga, what a season he had last year. Spanish wonder kid, Celta Vigo midfielder. He's got it all. He's meant to be the next David Silva. So if he can sign it, that's why Man City are probably looking at him. And Pep will know all about him. Of course, he will with his Spanish connections. What's the fee going to be? What's the fee going to be? Because at first it was, linked that it was going to be 30 million, 40 million. Yes, all day long. Deal. Now you're talking, 50, 60. And that's because when you see City in that into the race, bang, price tag goes right up, like it did for Arsenal with Declan Rice. Arsenal would have signed Declan Rice for 80, 90 million until City comes in. Then they end up spending an extra 15, 20 million. So Gabri Veiga, the Spanish wonder kid, just bringing it up here. They're saying that Newcastle United have met with his agents. They are trying to persuade him to come to Newcastle. Trying to persuade the 21-year-old playmaker to come to the Toon. He does actually have a release clause of 40 million euros. So if we can't activate that before they try and get him to sign a new deal just to do that, he scored 11 goals, 4 assists across all competitions last year. Got all the top attributes to do well. And obviously, now that Liverpool have signed Szoboszlai, will they go in for him again? Obviously, they want to strengthen that midfield. They've got loads of players leaving. So could we do that? Will he come to the Premier League? Like I say, he's linked with Chelsea, Man City. Everyone wants him. But could you get him at Newcastle? Could Gabri Veiga come to the Toon? Apparently, like I say, we've contacted super agent Pina Zahavi in a bid to sign the Spanish wonder kid. And Newcastle and Liverpool are the ones that are currently holding transfer talks with the 21-year-old agent. Big one, this one, in terms of, obviously it's the perfect signing for Newcastle. It is exactly what Eddie Howe and Dan Ashworth would want. The age, the profile, the build, the future, the potential, the sell-on fee in the future. Because we've got to think about FFP. We've got to think, in 5-6 years' time, Tonali will probably move on somewhere else. We'll recoup some of the money and then he can spend it again. That's what everyone does. You know what I mean? That's what everyone does. So we've got to think about that. And everything's perfect for Gabri Veiga. That is exactly what we would want. He'd be unreal. I'm just not sure if he would... it depends who else is in for him, because I think if you can... Obviously, you can see the project now. You can see the players he's going to be playing with. He's going to be playing in a midfield with Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali behind him. So I think that's enough to really persuade him with Champions League football, with St James's Park, with the fans. I think it could be enough. So it depends if Liverpool, who are apparently in talks with the agent as well, are they going to pay the money? Will they do that after Szoboszlai? I remember what happened to Jurgen Klopp whinging last year, saying, we can't compete with Newcastle anymore. There's no ceiling for Newcastle. We can't compete with them. And they've spent more than us already. Do you know what I mean? So if they go ahead, they've spent over 100 million now. So if they go ahead and sign Veiga as well, what the hell is all that about? After signing Gakpo in January and that as well. Nunez last year for massive money. I don't know. But if Man City come in for him, then it's game over, innit? But Veiga, he's got options. Newcastle have apparently met with his agent. What a deal that would be if we get it done, man. And if we could hit that 40 million euro release clause, why can't we make it happen? If you can persuade the player, if that Real Madrid's not interested, like they've been linked with, your Barcelona's, we could get that. Like we could get Veiga, like we definitely could, and that would be such an exciting signing. And that would, everyone's talking about this kid across Europe. So if we sign him, and he was posing in a black and white shirt, and that was our midfield next year. Bruno Tonali and Veiga, or Bruno Tonali dual linking with Veiga in front of them, or on the wing, or dropping deep. Scary, that, like, absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So what a move that would be. Let's have a look at the chat, see what you are saying about Gabri Veiga. We're just getting people whacking in loads of shite ex-players. Yeah, Riviere, Acuna. Riviere, man. Jesus Christ. Let's have a look. Gordon's on fire. Everyone's talking about Gordon, obviously scoring for England. We should maybe get Smith Rowe. Yeah, wouldn't be bad, like, bit of Smith Rowe, but I think he's going to get given a chance next year at Arsenal to come back from his injury. Even though, there's something about Smith Rowe and Arteta where he was given that number 10 when he first came in. He played him all the time, and now he can't really get in. And they're saying that Fabio Vieira in the same position, who's being wank. 35 million they spent on him, and he can't even get a game. Will Smith Rowe come back in? I don't know. He's had the injury issues, so maybe. We'll wait and see. Hakim Ziyech failed medical, has he? Failed his medical in Saudi. People are saying. Not sure how true that is. Hugo Viana, legend. Annie O'Brien, legend. What was this? Oh, that's what we're saying. Antoine Sibierski, quality. You just like a bit of Sibierski. Yeah, I think, obviously this was a big target last year, wasn't it, as well? Gonzalo Ramos from Benfica. Big money, linked with a lot of teams as well. I would love Ramos. He would be ideal. I just think it's not a priority right now. Like, we do need that backup striker to Wilson and Isak, and he can't play across but it's how much is he going to cost in Benfica in the Champions League, and it's big bucks, so it's probably too soon for that one. But maybe in this time next year, Wilson's a bit older. How was his season? How did he get on? What was his injuries like? Then you could, I think, we might step it up and be like, right, we need to go big. You know what I mean? Harry Kane on a free if he stays at Spurs, the idiot. Amdi Faye, Charles Insomnia. James Perch, love it. Lindstrom and Veha. We should go in for Lindstrom. Everyone's bigging up Lindstrom now, like. Babayaro. Getting loads of Fumaka. Getting loads of random boom song. Loads of random players never for some reason. So there's Gabri Veiga, talks with his agent, if you're led to believe, several rumour mills. I will say that. It's nothing concrete. It's nothing solid in terms of the Athletic reporting it, or Sky, or Fabrizio Romano, or whatever. But the rumour mills are there. His name's not going away. Listen, he's been linked for months now. So we'll see about that one. Next up on the transfer talk is Tino Livramento. Deal is dead. Not quite dead, I wouldn't say, according to some people. Now, the Telegraph have came out and said that the deal is at least... Holy shit, Anthony Gordon has scored again, or is that the same one? No, they're just showing the highlights. Let's have a look at the goal. I'm going to have a look at it now. Wish I could show you a lot. Copyright, can't do it. He's at the back post. Good finish. 1-0 England. That was his goal before. They were just late to post that there. But so, as I was saying, Tino Livramento, the deal is stolen. That one is according to the Telegraph and Luke Edwards. So, Luke Edwards, let us know what you think. I mean, you said, well, closing umbrella. That wasn't right. So, do you take it with a pinch of salt? Obviously, can't be right about everything, but he's saying that the Telegraph are reporting that Tino Livramento deal has stalled. Now, it isn't completely written off. We're not going to be like, right, that's it, Southampton, see you later. Livramento, unlucky, mate. Moving on, other targets. We are still trying. The Tino Livramento deal is still in the works. There's just a big gap in valuation. So Southampton are wanting 40, 50 million for their young, highly rated right back in Livramento, who hasn't barely touched the ball in the past year. You know what I mean? He had that horrible injury. Some of these players don't really come back from that, or they come back, but it affects them later down the line. So that's got to be taken into account. He's like a game time over the last year. But what they're taking into account is his game time that he did have before that he impressed so highly. And, he was unbelievable for them. He is class. I really like it. He was obviously Chelsea Academy Player of the Year when he was playing for them before he signed for Southampton. Now, the Livramento deal, the issue with it is that there's a big sell-on clause. So Chelsea get a huge chunk of that transfer fee. So Southampton aren't really seeing how it's worthwhile. If we're offering 20 million at the minute, we did start off with 12 to 15 plus Ryan Fraser. I think Ryan Fraser can just be chucked in and we're not even, what's he worth? He's worth about half a bottle of Evian these days, you know what I mean? No sponsor. He's not out, is he? Well, if you put Ryan Fraser on the market, what's he really going to go for? Will you even get $1 million, $2 million for Fraser? Now on his side, his injury record, his age, his height, he's got no gun for him. So for me, it's going to be 15 million. Plus Fraser moved on to 20 million. I think we should get him for 20 million. I think Southampton should take the 20 million, maybe 22. We'd probably go up to 25. And then after that, we're not going to go more than that. We're not going to go more than 25 million. No way. Southampton think they can get 40, 50 million for him. It's just ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. We're not talking about the rapper. It's just mental. You know what I mean? 50 million. What's he done to be worth 50 million? Yeah, he's a very good player. He's played in the Premier League. He's got bags of potential. But I'm not feeling 50 million for him, like, and neither Newcastle. No chance. No chance of even spending anywhere near that. Half of it, max 25 tops for Livramento. But as I said, the issue is that Southampton get a big chunk of it. You know, so if Southampton are looking at it thinking, that's not really worth our while, this. Like, if we sell him for 20 million and we're only getting half of it, or 70% of it, whatever it is, I can't remember what it was, but it's a big chunk of it that Chelsea got in there. Chelsea have got a 25 million buyback clause. I'm surprised they don't just buy him back and then sell him on. Or Saudi will get him, whatever. Play him. He's decent. Since James is always injured, he's a crock, isn't he? So Livramento deal is currently stalling because of the difference in valuation between Newcastle and Southampton. We're way off. Can there be work on that? Again, I think the thing with these relegated sides, they start their season sooner than the Premier League. They end up dropping the valuation on players because they need to sell them and they need to get other players in to rebuild their squad. So will we see movement on that? Probably not too soon, but I think, Livramento could still happen. We'll wait and see. It depends if Southampton want to realise that they should sell him, take that money, sign a few more players, try and get promoted again. But yeah, the Livramento deal at the minute, bit bumpy, bit rocky, but I wouldn't be surprised if we resolved it. It just depends. It's up to Southampton really, just to stop being mental and not demanding too much money. But I'll catch up with the comments after every little topic that we do on the bottom. Southampton has heard about his Newcastle tax straight away there. So try and get Nesri and Veiga. I'd be happy with that. What we're seeing, loads of people talking about Florian Wirtz from Leverkusen as well. What a talent. Probably look into these players and do a video next week if there isn't any breakthrough transfer news, because Wirtz and Lundstrom seem to be very heavily linked on social media. So we'll wait and see how those develop. And then again, just loads of random football names. Besedas, Frank Dumas, Marcelino, Karl. Big up Andrew for being a member. Thanks very much, mate. Anthony Gordon has just scored for England, doing bits. Claudio Casapa, Leon Best. I thought Leon Best was Harry, mate. No, he just scored a hat-trick against West Ham. Bestie. James Page. Right, let's get into the other topic. We've been going for nearly 1 hour already on this one. And we'll talk about the last one there. On this one of the last ones we're going to talk about, and I see this is actually hotting up since I've started this stream. Obviously, that's been on there for a couple of hours there. Newcastle United, and I think we will be looking at the loan market as a way to try and bring in an extra body for squad depth, for the Champions League, for cup games this summer, instead of obviously having to splash more cash on the window. We've obviously getting Tonali and we're saying 1, 2, 3 others. I think we will get a loan signing in this transfer window. I really do. And the Telegraph, again, Luke Edwards coming out with all these Newcastle United exclusives, apparently, is Conor Gallagher from Chelsea and Calvin Phillips from Man City. Let's talk about Conor Gallagher first, because he is another one since the takeover. Even before that, to be fair, when he was at West Brom on loan, linked with Newcastle United. Conor Gallagher, he's been a long-term target for Steve Nixon, the head scout at Newcastle United. He's really liked the look of Conor Gallagher. He's recommended him a lot of times. Gallagher's obviously, he had a really good season on Lampard in beforehand. So we're looking at that, where Gallagher didn't really kick on this year, though. He had a brilliant loan spell at Crystal Palace as well. He was unreal there. Class Gallagher for Palace. Hasn't really emulated that enough on a regular basis at Stamford Bridge. I think Chelsea will probably keep him, to be honest, because they've sold all these players to Saudi. I think Pochettino could really get a work out of Gallagher. I think that's the type of player he could evolve and improve and give him a run, especially since they've sold Mason Mount out at Chelsea. That position, they probably need bodies in that area. I think Gallagher will probably stay. And for me, Gallagher at Newcastle, I just think it's one of those players where we don't really need him. I look and I think if it's a loan and then obviously you're not spending a big transfer fee, then it's kind of a why not. But for me, after the season that Willock's had, after other positions that we need to prioritise, and for me, I'm not that fussed on a Conor Gallagher, and I haven't seen enough of it either. Like I say, some games, especially in that Crystal Palace loan spell, fantastic. Games for Chelsea, not very impressive at all. For me, not very impressive at all. But there is a player in there, don't get us wrong. He's had his chance with England at Southgate. He likes him as well. So he is a good player. And to be fair, I think Eddie Howe, I mentioned Maurizio Pochettino at Chelsea improving him. But for me, I think he could obviously do bits. Eddie Howe would do wonders with him. He's done that with Sean. He's done that with Willock this season. So, yeah, I just think it's not really a necessity to get Conor Gallagher in. Let me know what you think about Gallagher, to be fair. Jason saying he looks like a headless chicken. I think sometimes he does go missing. He really does go missing in games for me. He'll be on big wages at Chelsea as well. Stay away from him. Well, see what else he's saying. Gallagher just runs around. That doesn't make any sense for us. Says Tom. Colin says, I definitely do not want Gallagher. And people are talking about Phillips as well. Ferran Torres, we may touch on him in a minute as well. Cover for Shaw, a right-footed centre-back. We'll get onto that in a minute as well. There's a big names being linked to Newcastle today as well, actually. Talked about the loans from Saudi earlier on, mate. So if you scroll back, have a look about that. Walker Peters, what's his asking price? Probably too much. You know what I mean? Probably too much for Walker Peters. If Southampton are wanting that much for Livramento. Obviously, Walker Peters as well has been linked with a lot of Premier League clubs, including Newcastle. Let's go back down. Ruben is asking, do you sell merchandise? I guess you can see this old classic on here. Look at that belter. That was a couple of years ago now, that. Sold out them ones, limited edition. So if you got one, well done. But we will be bringing back merchandise this summer, hopefully. I'm in the works to get it done now. Hopefully we'll have it in the next couple of the weeks. It's long trying to set it up, really, and it's expensive now. You know what I mean? The price has rocketed since I brought these t-shirts out for them to get designed, manufactured, and then obviously ship them out to everyone. Way increased the price. Everyone's blaming it on COVID, like everything else. But so I'm working on getting a supplier. I'm in talks with a couple of them. We're going to get the designs. I've got the designs pretty much done, so we will be having merchandise on sale again very soon. It's something I want to get my hands back into because I did enjoy it, and it was a good way for you lot to get involved as well. And even the members, we'll be doing some giveaways and stuff for the members. So yeah, merchandise is definitely on the agenda and will be coming back very soon. I hope to get it in, hopefully this month, to be fair. July, it's just turned July now. Hopefully we can get some stocking for you lot over the next few weeks. Right then, what else are you saying? Pau Torres going to Villa. That's a class signing for them. But I'm telling you, Villa are making some class signings. What's happening? How come Villa have got FFP? Like, where's Villa's FFP? They always seem to spend big. Before we get into the Calvin Phillips loan deal rumours, what else are you quickly saying? Actually, we're all right. I'm pretty much caught up. So what we'll do now then is talk about Calvin Phillips. Not only is Conor Gallagher's Chelsea loan deal linked, it also talks about Calvin Phillips coming from Man City. He scored the other week for England. That's about the only thing he's done since signing for Man City in the past year. He never gets a game for them. He's lifted a treble. He's a bit of a cheeky bastard. I may as well be on the ceremony with everyone else. You know what I mean? I may as well be there with Kevin De Bruyne lifting the trophy. I've had about as much input as Phillips has to win that Champions League. Do you know what I mean? So where's my medal? I don't get it. Because Phillips has been there. What was that mad stat? He played like 4 games or something. At one point, he'd been there for about 6-9 months and he played 41 minutes. And those were just 3 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 7 minutes here. It's mad. Because I thought, right, and a lot of people actually don't like Calvin Phillips and they think he's overrated and stuff. I really like him. I think he's a quality player. I really do. He was mint at Leeds. He can get even better. I think he will get better. He does well for England, to be fair. He does. I mean, he's got Declan Rice beside him and he's got, abundance of talent in front of him. So it'd probably be kind of hard not to play well for England. Calvin Phillips. He did actually win England's Player of the Year as well a year or two ago. But for me, Calvin Phillips, I would really like to sign him. I think on loan as well, it's a no-brainer because that would that would then really allow us to see the best out of Bruno and Tonali, because that he would be the one who would just sit there and do the dirty stuff in the middle, and then you could have Tonali and Bruno in front of him, maybe Joey on the left. So yeah, I think Phillips would add great balance to our midfield. I really do, and I think he needs that loan spell. Like, why did Man City sign him? They didn't even need him, and now they might need him a bit more now that Gundogan's gone. But obviously now, talking about him not getting much game time, but I suppose in his first season, Jack Grealish didn't get any game time, and then he's had a class season for them. And then you look around Man City's midfield, it's probably difficult to get in there when you've got Rodri in that playing. So will he get more of a chance next season? I think surely he's got to. With Gundogan leaving, obviously with Champions League football and stuff as usual for City, you'll get more of a sniff. But I don't know. Calvin Phillips, I think he's talked about saying that he's happy at Man City when he's been linked with loan deals elsewhere and Newcastle. He said he's happy, and of course he is. Why wouldn't he be happy? He's doing nout. He's winning every trophy there is to win, sitting on the bench every week and picking up a couple on the ground. I'd be buzzing. I wouldn't just be happy. I'd be ecstatic. You know what I mean? But to be fair, at the same time though, you'd want to play like I would want to play, because a footballer's career is short, and I'd want to be on the pitch playing instead of just sitting there, chewing your Wrigley's extra every week. What's the point? You know what I mean? It's alright if you know you're not that good. If you're a Paul Dummer, you're thinking this is class. I'm sitting here every week watching the Toon win, and I'm getting paid money to do it. You know what I mean? Because if not, he would have been the guy getting paid for his season ticket. Where if you're Calvin Phillips, no affiliation to Man City, I'd be wanting to play. I'd be wanting to play, wanting to compete. But we'll see about that. This is what the Telegraph were reporting, that we are trying to get Calvin Phillips in on loan. We'll talk a bit about a few things as well here actually in this article. They were on about maybe accepting 40 million for St. Maximin in the Telegraph, but Eddie Howe would like to keep him. Desperately need to move players on that we know about, a free up wage space like Fraser, Darlow, Hendrick, Hayden and Javi Manquillo, all available. Just not many suitors for them. All those championship clubs lingering. Right-sided centre-backs wanted, left-back, 2 midfield players, not one. Obviously, Tonali's one of them, though. But, they're keeping a close eye on Calvin Phillips' situation at Man City in case he's told he can leave later this summer. Phillips adamant that he wants to fight for his place under Guardiola. Things could change when he returns for pre-season if he is told that his game time will be limited. And the Telegraph are reporting that Tonali will be signed for £52 million. So not even 55 million according to them. Very low fee. And then quickly on the Livramento thing is what the Telegraph are touching on as well. Southampton want to bring in at least 30 million for him. Newcastle aren't willing to pay that much. Our bid at the minute is 21 million for Tino Livramento. But Newcastle will move on if there is no progress made this week. So the Telegraph are claiming Newcastle will move on from the Livramento deal if Southampton don't change their mind on the transfer fee. Because at the minute they want 30, Newcastle are saying 21. That maybe can we meet at 24, 25. Newcastle sources at St James's Park are saying that they have been stressed out at the asking prices as they are astronomically high from the targets that they've been looking at. So the Newcastle tax is real, man. I told you it will be, especially now we've got Champions League. They're going to be thinking, they're going to be splashing out there. But so the way of getting around that, is it a loan deal? Conor Gallagher from Chelsea, Calvin Phillips from Manchester City. We'll wait and see. Let us know what you think about loan deals. Would you be happy with either of those? Who else could we sign? Too much for Livramento. Dodgy knee, says Ian Brownlee. What else we're seeing? Alec Rouse from Southampton. Suleimani from Southampton. Will we do a statement saying like Osimhen? Nah, our statement saying is Tonali, I think. I'd be surprised if we paid that much for anyone else this window, mate. Got to wait a couple of years for an Osimhen. I'm telling you, 2-3 years time we'll be signing Osimhen's and Diaby's. But you can't do it at the minute. It would just absolutely ruin us, especially if we didn't do well. If we signed Osimhen or Kane or Moussa Diaby for big money and Kvaratskhelia, Theo Hernandez, if we pumped 80 to 100 million on one player, then and he didn't do well, you're knackered with his wages for 5-6 years, but you're knackered because you can't bring anyone else in. You won't be able to get rid of him because no one else will pay that much for them. if they're playing crap as well, like Vlahovic at Juve. And then you're stuck with them, and you're not finishing well. If we don't get in Europe, if we haven't made much money, before we sign the Osmans and Diabys, we can't afford that risk right now. But in a few years, when we've got more revenue in streaming, we've got the sponsorship deals in, we can balance out the FFP, because obviously the revenue's doing bits at the minute through ticket sales and merchandise. Obviously the strips, everything flying off the shelf. So a couple of years' time, we'll be able to do that. Colin Ferran Torres, I would love Ferran Torres. I mean, he's been linked to be able to go for as little as 35 million euros. So 30 million quid for Torres would be class. Again, can do a job across the front line. But there's 1 week they're saying he's definitely up for sale. The next he's saying, I'm staying, and Barcelona now want to keep him. So God knows what's happening there. But Ferran Torres as a winger for Newcastle will be very exciting. I'd be dead happy with that. What we're saying. Shout out everyone that's tuned in. Nearly 700 people live. Make sure you like this video and hit subscribe. We've got one last main topic to talk about in Karl Darlow and an outgoing for Newcastle. But we've also got two other things that people mentioned in the chat about other players that have been linked. So we'll round it up soon, but we'll keep the ball rolling. How long is Tonali deal being delayed for? Just tomorrow, mate. Probably get announced tomorrow and then revealed by Wednesday. Would be my thing. Or might they just wait until Wednesday when he's here and announce him and show him off at the same time? Who knows? But he'll definitely be coming into Newcastle in the next few days, and that deal will be wrapped up. I would think Wednesday at the latest for Tonali. Wednesday at the latest. But yeah, buzzing for it. Can't wait for that. See a lot of people asking the same thing. So that's the crack. Tonali by midweek. That's what I would say. Harry Maguire on the cheap? Hell no. Absolutely not. I'd rather bring back Titus Bramble. Need Harry Maguire's around here. Another England centre-back we have been linked with, though, thankfully isn't Harry Maguire. It is, and I see people, talking about it here, right-sided centre-back for Fabian Shaw. We're detouring a bit here from the last topic, but this has just made me move on to it. Is Mark Gahey. So Mark Gahey of Crystal Palace has been linked today. Obviously, he's in the England fold now. So that's going to cost a fortune. His price tag just went up loads for Mark Gahey. Palace are going to want extreme money, and that's why I don't think it'll happen. Heavily linked with a move away this summer. People are on about bringing him in. Koulibaly's left Chelsea. Will they go and splash the money on him? He's better. No disrespect to Palace, but he's better than Palace. He needs a move. He should be playing top 6. He is class, Mark Gahey, and he'll be an England centre-back for years to come. And I tell you what, if we could get Botman and Gahey as our partnership, that would be absolutely tremendous. Perfect balance as well. Absolutely perfect. Botman on the left side, Gahey on the right. Perfect strengths for the pair of them. I think they'd link up really well, and it could be our centre-back pairing for several years. It'd be amazing. I would love Mark Gahey, but I just think we're going to get priced out of him. They're going to want at least the good old 50 million mark. Seems to be the thing for England players this year, doesn't it? No matter if you're talking about Ward-Prowse, you're talking about Maddison, you're talking about anyone. 50 million just for the crack. 50 million is the going rate. So they probably want even more. So it's mad. The English tax. Gahey, I just don't think we would get him yet, but I would love him. But then again, if something happened to Shaw and we needed someone in, maybe we would pull the trigger and go for it. But I think maybe next summer would be the priority for a big centre-back sign. I mean, I would have loved Kim Min-jae from Napoli. He's obviously gone to Bayern Munich. He would have been brilliant. But I think next summer is when we'll go in for that, because Shaw will obviously be a year older. He's had his odd injury concerns after what has been his best season yet in a black and white shirt, in my opinion. But next summer, we'll see big money spent on a centre-back, I think. But this summer, not yet. But I honestly, I wouldn't take Harry Maguire for free. Fuck that. I'd rather just keep Jamal Lascelles. I'm not on that Harry Maguire thing. But he's probably obviously seen him for England and that. He does a job there. But I see Liam talk about Mark Gahey. People talk about Max Aarons. I would love Max Aarons, to be fair. Give Norwich back Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis, man. 15 million on him, Jamal Lewis. I can't believe it. You can't give Maguire away. He's on 240. Harry Maguire's on... What the hell is going on, man? Man United's wage bill is just insane, isn't it? Harry Maguire is on £250,000 a week. Just stand there like a fridge freezer at the back. That's the most expensive fridge freezer in the history of fridge freezers. 240 grand a week. Harry Maguire. My goodness me. Russell and Hobbs. It's a madness that, like 240. What am I doing? How am I not on... That pisses me off that Harry Maguire hasn't that much money. He does. So what we'll do then is we'll move on to the last topic on the bottom of your ticker there. Is that Newcastle United's Karl Darlow, one of our many goalkeepers, is in talks with the Cherries, swapping the Magpies for the South Coast Cherries. And that's a really good move for Karl Darlow, to be fair. Karl Darlow in talks with Bournemouth. That's looking pretty legit, to be fair. I'm not angry about that at all. Actually, I'm quite happy for Karl Darlow. When you look at it, I think that's a really good move for him. I'm just checking something here. But I think, when you've looked at Karl Darlow's options and you see that he was obviously on loan at Hull last year, he's been linked with moves to maybe Middlesbrough and other championship teams. For him to be able to go to Bournemouth, it's really decent, to be fair, really, really decent. They finished strong last season, 15th, so he's going to a Premier League team. Karl Darlow, so that's class for him. I'm pleased for him. I quite like Karl Darlow. I think he's a good keeper. I really do. I think he's a solid keeper. Obviously, not good enough for us now, where Newcastle are at and aiming to continue to grow. But Karl Darlow, I definitely do a job for Bournemouth. Very good signing for them. Really good move for him. Good club, Bournemouth. Didn't like how they sacked that Gary O'Neill, but they brought a very good manager in there from Spain. So for me, I think that's a class move for Darlow. I'm not sure what the fee will be. It won't be much at all. But it's wages off the books. It's someone we don't need. Because I like Karl Darlow. He's a really good understudy, a good backup. Fair play to him. He's not happy sitting on the bench. He wants to be playing football. I like that about him. And he's good enough to be playing. He really is. He had a great loan spell at Hull City last year. And I rate Karl Darlow. I really do. I think he's a really good goalkeeper. And he's still got a good few years in him easily as a keeper. Easily. So it's just one of them ones where it's a good move for Newcastle as well. Because as I mentioned, that goalkeeper department is massive. Do you know what I mean? That goalkeeper department is growing by the day. You know what I mean? They're everywhere. There's too many goalkeeper gloves for the bloke to wash at the training ground. The washing machines are knackered. There's gloves in every bloody washing machine available. I mean, Dubravka's obviously still there. What's going on there? I mean, I'd like Dubravka to stay, but I think he'll probably want first team football, unless he obviously fancies his chances of getting the odd chance in the Champions League and stuff. But Martin Dubravka's going to potentially move on. Loris Karius, we've wanted him to stay. Eddie Howe's asked him to stay. He hasn't made his mind up yet. He's probably considering and exploring his options. Will he go back to Germany? That's rumoured. Does he want first team football? He's saying, he'd want a bit more game time. Us being in competitions, though, we could be doing what Man City and that do next year. I mean, like Man City in the Carabao Cup, they always play that Stefan or the second, third choice keeper. I think we could do that. Will Pope be playing the Carabao Cup next season? Well, he didn't last time out, did he? Karius played in the final. Bloody idiot. But I think, we could look to swap that keeper and give someone a chance, whether that be Dubravka or Karius. I think we'll do that more often next year. So if you look now at keeper department at the minute, Pope, Dubravka, Loris Karius, Darlow and Gillespie, 5 goalkeepers. Like Gillespie's just out here, making money for the crack, just cheerleader. But Darlow will move on, and then one of Dubravka or Karius will move on. If not both, if they're both on game time, then we'll have to bring someone else in. Obviously, Fraser Forster was linked for so long to come back in. But Bournemouth are closing on Karl Darlow. They are in talks with Darlow. So that's a really good move for him. Good signing for Bournemouth. I like that one. And wish him all the best. I think Darlow has been really good for us. Good servant to the club. Had his best moments, in those championship years. And then when he was called upon, I don't think he ever really disappointed. Maybe the odd game, but for me, he was a good, sturdy option. And I like Karl Darlow. So good luck to him. I think that rounds up the topics that I had covered, apart from the odd other one. If we talk about Lundstrom and stuff like that, who was obviously heavily linked. We might mention that in a minute. But before we sign off, let us know in the chat anything else you want to talk about, anything you want to cover. I'll go back up here. Aaron Sini, hope he does well, just not against us. Well, see, the good thing for him is that he actually will get to come back to St. James Park as well. I mean, it was so likely that he was going to be going to a championship team after his loan spell at Hull. So for him to get a move to the Premier League, still be playing the big boys, still be playing at your Anfields and your Old Traffords, and then back at St. James's, I'm happy for him. Are we getting 5 million for Darlow? Resigning losing him for 1 million. If we manage to get 5 million for him, that'd be quality, to be fair. But again, 5 million this day is an output. I agree. Like 5 million on paper, I thought he would have probably went for about 3 mils. So if we get 5, I'll be happy with that. What else was saying? Jonathan David would be huge. Well, it would be indeed. What do you make of the new green top? There's a video out on the channel, mate, with the new Saudi away kit. Nice little vlog that I did going to the club shop there on the release day on Friday. So have a look at that, mate. My thoughts are on that video. The full opinion on it, and you get a good look at it all in the club shop and on me. So have a check out of that. But I'm a big fan of it, to be fair. Like, I really like it. But to see what more I've got to say about it, have a look at the last video. What I'm going to do is just scroll through one of the other things that I've got lined up. Is Anthony Gordon got an assist now as well for England, has he? No, just some load of bollocks there. Oh, it's just because there's a picture of Gibbs White and Gordon doing the old handshake again. I mean, it's becoming a familiar sight that at this Euros, Anthony Gordon and Gibbs White. Gibbs White's a quality player. Eyebrows were raised when they spent 45, 50 million on him, Nottingham Forest, but he's brilliant, like, to be fair. He had a really good season, especially the end of it. And we'll just touch on one or two more things because obviously there is that many transfer rumours. Darlow is at Bournemouth as we speak, says Ian. There we go then. So it is. Tigers closing in. What else we got? It is mint though, that Gordon stuff, mate. Anthony Gordon just on fire for England. Love to see it. And playing in that, striker role. But thriving in it. It's good to see. Very good to see. And to be fair, right, Gordon was asked about Sandro Tonali when he was on England duty. And this is what he had to say about Newcastle United's soon-to-be signing. Gordon said that he knew Tonali from the early days at Brescia. Big fan. Been watching him. I remember seeing some clips of him before he went to Milan. He's excelled and is one of the top midfielders in the world. This is Anthony Gordon on Tonali. It's showing the direction Newcastle are going, and I'm really looking forward to playing with him. Lovely stuff. What you like to hear that. It's good to see that he knew him from the early days. Gordon's got some good football knowledge. He's been watching them. Just more there on what we touched on earlier, to be fair, is that Newcastle United sent a move for free agent Reece Nelson. The Arsenal got 23. He's not signed a new deal at the Gunners, and a whole host of clubs are vying for him. Do you know this? To be fair, if he's free, it's not bad for free, like, is it? It's really not bad for free. I'm not sure what wages you would want. What I like about Reece Nelson as well is obviously that he's told Arsenal that he wants more game time. Arteta has obviously said, you're not going to get much of it. And he's thought, fuck them, man. You know what I mean? I'll look elsewhere, and I like that. At least he's not happy just to waste his career away on the bench or whatever, Calvin Phillips style. He's wanting to fight for his place, get a starting spot somewhere and kick on, and try and do well internationally and stuff. Because to be fair, Reece Nelson did have a really good loan spell, and he was decent then. I get that, Arsenal have saying Trossard, Havertz. Obviously, they've already got Saka and that, so it's hard for him to get game time there. But could we do another Joe Willock special and bring in one of the Arsenal academy products? And when you think about it, for a free, it is decent, to be fair. Earlier on, I was saying it still doesn't get as that excited. But if you think of it for free, it's not bad at all. That Reece Nelson for free. Not bad, especially for squad depth, especially for these Champions League games and stuff. Reece Nelson are free. is really decent, to be fair. Like I'd take him on a free. Why not on a free? You know what I mean? Does he improve our bench and stuff? Yeah, but again, if he's leaving Arsenal because he wants game time, we're not going to guarantee him that. There's no way he starts for us right now either. You know what I mean? Gordon, 40 million, doesn't start. So I'm not sure if he would accept coming to us yet. Like, we'll round it up now then. I'm going to finish off the show. Still 600 people tuned in, but getting hungry. Tea time soon. Do you know what I mean? Got things to do. But it's been great having this stream on again. Remember, every week, live at 5, transfer talk show. Anything from half an hour to 2 hours, really. We're nearly on an hour and a half, so we've done well. We've covered loads of transfer links, loads of crap we used a lot in the chat. It's been great. Give this one a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And before I do sign out, I will see a few more comments. What he's saying. What else we got? Do you think we dodged a couple of bullets missing out on Maddison? Nah, I don't. Like, I'm not going to try and be like, I never wanted them. Not one of them ones where they're like, I never wanted them anyway. Wasn't interested. We were interested. We did bid for both, and they chose elsewhere. You're just going to have to suck it up. It's one of those things, like, you know what I mean? It is one of those things where Maddison went for more money. Yeah, that's what he wants to do, and his missus would prefer London, whatever. I think it's poor from him, to be fair. Like, you know, with the way he's with a project in Newcastle and Champions League football, it is poor that he's done that, in my opinion. But that's his motivation. I suppose if Kane stays and he can link up with him and keep in the England fold, he would have got the England team if he came to Newcastle. You know what I mean? Like, Wilson's in the England team when he's doing well, so Maddison's done that for that reason. And Szoboszlai, Liverpool. If Liverpool have came in, and the big pull was Klopp, wasn't it? You know, Szoboszlai has said that Jurgen Klopp's one of his idols. He thinks he's the best manager ever. He's always wanted to play under him. So when Klopp and Liverpool came in, there's not much you can do about that. So I don't think we've dodged bullets. But we've seen Maddison's Premier League proven. And I think Szoboszlai will be a top player for them as well, for Liverpool. Reece Nelson on a free is a great bit of business. On a free, it is, to be fair, you know. Any news on Matty Longstaff? Nah, you're not going to see anything on Matty Longstaff for a while, to be fair. He's still recovering from that bad injury. Newcastle, even though they've released him, are still allowing him to bring his fitness back by, he's at the Benton training ground base, so the club are still letting him in there, welcoming him in there every day, which is good to see him, which is right. But under the previous regime, I bet you that wouldn't have happened. But, we're still offering him all the treatment, all the professional advice. The physios and everything at the team, at the club are still working with him, and he's obviously using all the nice fancy equipment to try and recover from his injury. So good luck to him, but he won't make a move for a couple of months at least. Matty, it'll probably be a free agent job towards the end of the year, really, because he's really got to regain some match fitness, some sharpness and confidence and everything. So he's been unlucky, honey. Cheers for that one, mate. Thank you for loving it. I'm glad you are enjoying it. It's great to see all the people that are tuned in for this Sunday Transfer Live show. And in general, the channel's booming. This has been the best month ever on the channel, the most views and everything else. So it's class to see, and it's great to see that we're getting involved and we're all excited for the future of Newcastle United. You know what I mean? And we're going to go along the journey with them. So good times. Good times. What else was saying? Zaha would be better on a free. I think Zaha's going to go to Saudi, don't he? He's really heavily linked to go to Saudi or even Spain. Atletico Madrid are linked with Zaha. Maybe he wants to test himself abroad, and more importantly, I think he wants one big paycheck. He's going to be his last pay deal, so I think he's going to want one more big paycheck. But that'll do for today's show. Thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. It's been good crack. We use a lot in the chat. Make sure you tune in every week, every Sunday, live at 5 p.m, Transfer Talk Live. And obviously every day. We've been putting out videos every day for weeks now. Daily content here for Newcastle United. Best place to be for it on the Magpie Channel TV. So make sure you subscribe. I'll see you all again soon. I'm sure there'll be a video tomorrow. Hopefully, maybe a Tonali announcement. Maybe it'll be unveiled by Wednesday. We'll wait and see. Anything happens across anything Newcastle United news related, we will be bringing you it right here. So stay tuned. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Nice one, everyone in the chat there. Love Matty, stay safe. Says Liam, Aaron, cheers. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Viva. See you later. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.